Hello lovely simmers, SimsEclaire here and welcome back to my channel. For today's video we are doing another community lot for Oasis Springs. I think this might be our last one. Now I do have an extra lot floating around since I had to change around my neighborhood, so that could end up being a community lot or it could end up being a house. I'm not 100% sure yet, but either way this is going to be the park. And I wanted the park to kind of have this grand like Mediterranean entrance because they are refurbishing the whole town, and I thought maybe where this park was, it used to be like a different type of community lot, or it used to be like a building, and they had this like brick stone work here, so they decided to go ahead and keep it as the entrance for the new park. And I was inspired honestly by the original park that was here. I suck at making parks. I made one on stream a couple of weeks ago now, and it went okay. I wasn't the biggest fan of it until literally like the very end, because with parks it's super complicated because everything is mostly in the landscaping. Like there's a few spots here and there that have activities and equipment and stuff like that, but then everything else is how you landscape it. And I wasn't really, I don't know, and if you don't do the landscaping first, it can get a little weird looking, so I was trying to do the landscaping as I went along so that way you guys wouldn't get bored. I also did cut out some of the landscaping just because there was a lot of it first of all, and there was a lot of like moving my camera around and everything. But right here is going to be the building where the bathrooms and stuff are, because in order for this lot to function as a park you do need bathrooms. That's one of the requirements, and you also need like chess tables and stuff, which will end up in the back right corner. But I wanted this to feel cohesive with the water park. They are right next door to or they are right next to each other, so I wanted to make sure that it fit with the theme and with the style of the build that we're going with and that we've been doing for this whole save file. So the buildings for the inside of the water park and the inside of this park here do look awfully similar, but they have different interiors, so I hope you guys don't mind too much. And I also get a little bit of like a reading space in here as well, but you'll see that when we go on to the interior. Right now we're just kind of making the exterior look pretty. I don't want it to be too fancy because this is definitely not the center piece of the park. The outside activities definitely are, because this is in Oasis Springs, and as I've said for a lot of my builds, I definitely thought that the people of Oasis Springs spend a lot of time outside since it is such a nice neighborhood. So I definitely wanted to pay more attention to the exterior. And right now we're doing just some terrain paint just so I can know where I'm going to be putting some different activities and different plants and stuff like that. The left hand corner there that has like the really dark dirt, that is going to end up being the kid play area. I wanted that to be the closest to the bathrooms and the inside area, so that way it was easier for the kids and then the parents to take the kids and everything like that. And then over here we are starting with some terrain paint for a little patio. I do end up changing this though because I built a pool. And before I get any comments about how I have the water park that technically functions as a pool, when I built the water park, I had to have it function as something, so that's why I picked pool, because that made the most sense. But in my head, that wasn't really a place where you would go and like relax at a pool, because there's no real relaxing spots. There was the kids part and the slides and then all like the fun activities. But this I thought was more of like a community pool area, so you could just go and relax and, you know, bring the dog and all that stuff. So that's why I decided to add a pool here. And then over here, like I said, this is the kids section. I start with just kids activities. I do end up adding the toddler jungle gym though in just a moment, because I was going to initially do a whole separate corner for toddlers, but I realized that was kind of, I don't know, it's not that it's not useful, because it is, but this wasn't a toddler park. Like it wasn't specifically for toddlers, so I kind of wanted to just lump the kids activities into one area. And then we're finishing up some landscaping. I also end up adding a couple of benches and then also a food stall from Seasons, because I thought that it'd be kind of cute if it was, you know, a pretend snow cone stall, because whenever I would go to public parks as a kid, there was always like either an ice cream truck or a snow cone truck, and we would always go and like pay the 50 cents for the ice cream or the snow cone and enjoy it while we were hanging out on the playground equipment. So I kind of wanted that to be portrayed here, so I used the Summer Swelter food truck from Seasons. And then I put a couple of benches by it for the kids to sit out, or for the parents to sit at while they, you know, watch their kids and make sure that everyone's staying safe. And then over here, I'm doing a little bit more landscaping. This is where I start to cut some of it out because I'm using the same debug plants, and I'm using the ones that are all around the area here in Oasis Springs because I thought that since this was a park, it would definitely have a lot of the same natural elements as the rest of the world. So I wanted to make sure that was, you know, portrayed here. And then this is kind of like the barbecue area. There's 2 different barbecues there, and then some tables as well for families. And then there's another barbecue area too, or not inside, but on the deck of the building. But when we get to there, I'll kind of share with you guys what I was thinking about why they were separate and why there was 2 different ones. But this is the pool area. It's very short and very simple, and it just has a couple of lounge chairs and just a nice area for families to come and sit and relax at the park. And then I'm doing some more landscaping. Again, it's all the same plants, and I was trying to keep them in rows because I thought that that was a nice way so you could still see all the sand, but still get all the nice lush green plants and stuff that we have here in Oasis Springs. And then over here is the chess area, and it's huge. I didn't mean to make it this big, so I did decide to add another fountain in the center just because I thought that it filled up the space and I wasn't quite sure what else I was going to be putting here. So I did this fountain with the Snowy Escape koi fish lily pads. So if you use these lily pads, koi fish will show up in the pond. So I really like that idea. And then here is where I realized that these benches I was using from Get Together, they don't count as benches. And I had to go through eventually and change all of them because I went under the requirements tab because you have to have X amount of benches, and it wasn't counting them, and I didn't know why. So I had to go and change it to benches that actually counted. So I have to take a moment in just a little bit and go back through and change all of the other benches that I have placed. But we real quickly skipped ahead just a little bit so you guys could see me replacing that grass or the brown dirt that I used with the tile. I thought that since this was like an adult space, it would be more tiled than the dirt and mud of the kids space, because I definitely thought it'd be safer if it was dirt and mud by the kids, whereas the adults could handle like the patio tiling. And then over here, this is the inside of the building. So the original bar here the original park here had a bar, so I wanted to kind of keep that, and I made it a little bit smaller because I didn't think it'd be a focal point, but I did want to make sure that I kept it. And a part of me almost added a refrigerator and a stove because I usually only go to parks for parties and events, and you always need something to be able to cook with. So a part of me was like, I'll just add the refrigerator and the stove, and then I was like, no, because that's kind of weird to place like just inside of a park. So obviously I left enough space, so if you guys do host parties here or stuff like that, you can add your own stove and your own refrigerator for your caterer. And then you're going to need a couple of counters as well, just so that you can use the stove and the refrigerator. And then over here, I'm just going to use some of these eco lifestyle lights just to fill in the walls a little bit and add some color. And then we are going into the bathrooms. There's no like bathroom doors on them or anything, so any sim can go in and use them. I decided just to do 2 because I didn't think you would need that many here at a park, but obviously these are quite big, so you can fit more toilets in them if you need to. And then over here, this is the other outdoor patio area with a barbecue. I thought that would be more for like exclusive parties, so that's why I kind of kept it separate from the rest of the build. But besides that, I hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you all next time. Bye!